This video was prompted by me as the response and or result of a response from someone on one of the videos that I posted a while ago on white supremacy. Now, mind you, the video on white supremacy that I posted doesn't have very many views, but it doesn't take very many viewers to make a video stand out. In this particular post or video that I posted, I made mention that white supremacy still does exist in America, and that it's acted out every day in some fashion or form. And I also made reference to the fact that black people built this country. And this video is several months old, and someone, I guess, just happened upon it and they responded to the video. Some people might deem it as hate response or some vitriol, if you will, of the highest degree. But I know that this individual is white that responded to my post, and they actually called me a nigger. Excuse me. Now, I haven't been called a nigger in a long time, but it's interesting. And their statement was that blacks didn't build America. Do you agree that blacks built this country? And his stance in his response also was basically that white supremacy didn't exist. He's not the first person that's ever mentioned as a response to my video that white supremacy didn't exist, but that was his stance, that white supremacy did not exist in this country, and that black people need to just get off of their lazy asses, according to him, and get a job and make a living for themselves. So with that, I'm curious, ladies and gentlemen, all of my followers and all of those who might be new to this channel and this particular video, I'm interested in knowing what your viewpoint is on white supremacy in America. Does it exist to you? Do you believe that white supremacy still exists in this country? Now, I think some people probably need some clarification on what white supremacy means, and I'm going to try and give you a definition that's not a Daniel Webster or a Thorndike and Burkhardt definition. This is brother teacher's definition based on reality. White supremacy, now we're talking specifically about white supremacy, but white supremacy is when there is an ideology or a mindset by a segment of the white populace or population, not all whites, but those whites that are in power or in position for the most part in this country that we call America. Whereas they believe that every individual who has a different color skin is beneath them and subservient to them, in second, third, and fourth class citizens, and that they belong at the top. And their behavior as it relates to those classes, or this class of people, and we're talking about blacks specifically, is demeaning, degrading, and demoralizing. And so much so that it's reflected in our economy, it's reflected socially, it's reflected in the churches, in our neighborhoods, and politically. And it is a perpetual ideology that has been in existence since this country was supposedly founded. Now, to say that there is a class of people that doesn't exist, that are supremacist, if you will, is saying that the moon is pink and every other thing that you can imagine that doesn't make sense. If white supremacy, or the ideology, if you will, does not exist, and even never have existed according to some, then why did black people end up in America? We are not immigrants. Our foreparents were not immigrants. We are the only class of people, if you will, or colored skin of people in North America that did not come here willfully. Asians came here willfully. So-called Jews came here willfully. The Middle Easterners, whether they be from Jordan, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Baghdad, wherever they came from, they came here willfully. The Africans came here willfully. The Latinos came here willfully, and the list goes on. Black people, so-called African Americans, were brought here. Not willfully. Our ancestors came here in the hulls of ships by the millions. And millions of them died in the hulls of ships, drowned, from being beaten, ships that had wrecked or crashed or sank, and they drowned in an attempt to get to America. They died of disease, malnutrition, as a result of trying to bring this group of individuals here for some purpose. Now, we're here. They didn't bring them here for nothing. And I'm sure we all know about the cotton industry, that black people were picking cotton. Hello? We have a manifold of information in videos now, on the internet now, in books, and many scripts, manuscripts, books that have been hidden away for hundreds of years by people in power, trying to hide the history of the black man in America, because they don't want us to know our true identity, because they actually do guard the secret. So you have black people who have been searching. Many go out and say that they're Israelites. There's some that say that they're Africans. There's some that say that they're Moors, that they're various other black or colored group descendants, as it were. And we've been doing this for as long as we've been here. And the white people, the white supremacists, and I still maintain that, they hold the answer. They know the answer is held away in a vault of secrecy, and they will never divulge it. Now, someone say, well, why didn't they just destroy it? You know, one thing I learned about man is that man is a record keeper. It's just something innately in human beings, is to keep documentations and records of historical facts. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to make the world privy to those facts. It means it just is something that generation and generation down the road, as far as their own genetics go, they share that information amongst their own, but not amongst those who will benefit the most. And especially when you're hiding some dirt, especially when you're hiding something that is going to expose a lie that was orchestrated, manufactured by you and your ancestors. but you're the one who's perpetuating that same lie. But anyway, I didn't mean to get off of the main subject, but I'm back on the question again. Does white supremacy exist? And I maintain, as I said before, that it does. I have experienced it personally. I experienced it in the military. I experienced it in retail. I experienced it in the nursing industry. I experienced it in virtually every aspect of my life. White supremacy. Applying for a job and being turned down, knowing why I was turned down. Now, there are people out there that are white that want to say that we black folks are insensitive or too sensitive about the subject of color and what have you. And number one, that's a cop out. That is a very convenient thing to say for a white person who has not walked in your shoes, who has not experienced being discriminated against because of the color of your skin, because you're not looked at as the same. Now I'm going to throw this at you real quick before I leave, and then I want you to respond to this video. And if you feel like it's of some value to you, or that it does something to open up your own mind as it relates to this particular subject, please like this video and then recommend it to someone and share it, if you will. But we're in this country, and we celebrate one particular day every year in July. It's called Independence Day. And I've heard so many people, and I'm talking about white folks for the most part, talk about celebrating the independence of America. In 1776, when we fought Great Britain and we supposedly won, and we won our independence. But ladies and gentlemen, did you know in 1776 there were still slaves? So whose independence are we celebrating? Supposedly in 1865, the slaves were free. So how do black people celebrate Independence Day when our ancestors were still under the whip? Just something to think about. So again, let me know what you think about this video, the subject matter of white supremacy. Are we still under the power and the thumb and the foot of that 1% that controls everything? Do they still have their foot on our neck as being black? Or is it just our imagination? This is Brother Teacher. I'll see you in the next video. So long.